First things first, welcome in or welcome back to the channel. My name is Grin and I hope that you are having a wonderful day. The clan I'm in is hosting a bingo game and the main objective of it, funny enough, isn't to get a bingo. Every tile you complete has a certain point value, and at the end of the event, the group that got the most points wins. This video is going to be a bit different than my normal videos because it will be half scripted and half not scripted. It might be a bit weird, but for some reason, editing it in this way seemed fun to me. This video is going to serve as a pseudo-informative video on how to do certain activities and also some live commentary. Before I go tackle each boss, I will give a general blurb about how to defeat the boss before I then go into live commentary and show the gear I'm using. With that said, I hope you enjoy the video, and if you did, a like and a subscribe would be greatly appreciated. Going into the bingo, I had a few tiles I thought I could tackle. I had a Black Demon's task ready, so I could go try to get a Zenyte shard. To get a Zenyte shard, you have to kill demonic gorillas. They're not too bad to kill, but require 2 combat styles as they switch their protection every 50 damage dealt to them. They also attack with all 3 combat styles as well, and switch it every 3 times they hit a 0 on you. Other than that, they drop a rock from the ceiling every now and then, but that is very easily avoidable. The first bingo tile I'm trying to go for is the Zenyte tile. So in order to get a Zenyte, you have to kill demonic gorillas, and those can be done on a Black Demon task, and I currently have one of 195. And as you can see here, I have 0 Zenytes on the drop. So if you go into the others category and go to Gluff's experiments, it'll show you the drop table, or like, I guess the rare drops from the demonic gorillas. And I've killed 484 of them and have gotten everything except for the ballista limbs and the Zenyte shards. So I'm really hoping to snag one of these. As for the gear I'm using, I am bringing a Torture and an Anguish switch. And other than that, I'm just rocking Masori, the Slayer helm, a Vernic Defender, Arclight, Barrow's gloves, Primordial boots, Light Bearer, and the Ava's assembler. And I'm just going to switch back and forth from the blowpipe and the 2 melee weapon, or I guess the 1 melee weapon I'm using right now, but I haven't done this in a while. I know they're not very hard, but you just have to pay attention to them, which is why I've never been a big fan, seeing as I've never gotten a Zenyte, but gonna go and send some. Well, that's not the drop I was looking for, which means the only drop left I have in the collection log is the Zenyte shard, the last one to get. So that's a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm only 8 demonic gorillas into the task, so hopefully I'll get it. There it is, my first ever Zenyte, over a 9 million GP drop. I am beyond excited to get this drop. I do need to go ahead and take a screenshot of this for the bingo, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, but man, that is so fantastic to see, but I'm going to pick this up and teleport out before I die. Up next is Calphite Queen. This boss is really frustrating because no matter what you do, you're going to get smacked for a ton of damage. Most of the time, you're only going to get 2 kill trips, and unless you have a hard desert diary done, you're going to have to bring 2 ropes with you every trip to even get access to the cave. Other than those annoying aspects of it, the boss itself is pretty simple. It has 2 forms. The first form is killed with melee, and the second form is killed with range, unless you have the blue Karis, in which case you can just melee the whole thing. It is important to remember to walk under the boss whenever you have to eat food, so it can't hit you. If you don't do this, you're going to end up taking a ton of damage, and the food you just ate will have been wasted. I did go ahead and skip the rest of that Black Demon's task so that I could get another one and find out if it would help me in the bingo event, and I ended up getting 197 Calphite, so I'm going to go to KQ. I know a lot of people hate this boss, myself included, but gonna go ahead and do it. I'm bringing a 6-way range switch for the second phase, but other than that, I'm just bringing the best melee gear I've got, as well as the Karis Partisan. I wish I had the Breaching, which is the blue gem, but I only have the yellow one, which is really good for TOA. Not so much good for this, but I believe it is still my best weapon slot on Crush, so this is the gear I'm bringing. I'm going to go ahead and teleport there with the Fairy Ring BIQ to go ahead and do that one on. It actually says the Calphite Hive there. Because I have the diaries done, I think it's the Elite Diary. Yeah, the Elite Desert Diary. My ropes will stay here, which is very important. It would be really annoying to bring 2 ropes with me the whole time. But after that, you just go ahead and click all the way down here, and you can actually peek this. If I had the Calphite Queen head, I could actually go through this crack here, which would be way faster. So I am hoping that that's the drop I get for the bingo task, but gonna go ahead and full send this as well. I ended up doing 46 KQ kills for about 2 million GP loot, and somebody else actually managed to finish the task before I could get any drops from it. So I went and cannoned my Calphite task. Took like 5 minutes to finish off the rest of it, but I'm going to go grab a Drummond staff and then go find out what my next task is and see if it's useful for bingo. All right, Duradel, give me something good. I'm hoping for Dagonauts, and I do have enough points for 1 skip. So let's see. Cave Kraken. This would be nice, but somebody's already completed a Kraken tile. So I'm going to cancel it. I don't have any more points to cancel anything else after. So please, Duradel. Black Demons. No, that would send me back to Demonic Gorillas, which was the first one I completed. So I'm going to have to think of a new plan. This and the next 2 tiles I go for are a bit different because they aren't boss tiles. The tile I'm going for this time is Dragon Limbs, and the easiest way to acquire this is from Ruined Dragons, which require decent gear and completion of Dragon Slayer 2. There isn't many mechanics to this other than making sure you bring insulated boots to prevent a lot of the special attack damage the dragons have. Other than that, just good gear and access to a decent POH makes things a lot easier. I did end up doing 2 full Tribid trips there, but not having a Slayer task for it is making it much worse, and I'm definitely willing to go back to it at some point if we have not yet completed that like bingo tile later on. But somebody also has to get Dragon Limbs, so I think I'm going to go ahead and AFK some Ruined Dragons. Keep in mind, I do have a tab going for all the loot I'm getting in this, and then I will price check it all at the end. And hopefully I will have made a decent amount of money. Oh, baby, there it is. The Dragon Limbs, 1.8 mil. Actually, crazy money there. I'm going to go ahead and grab an easier screenshot of it right here. Man, that is wonderful to see. Definitely is going to help with the price check later on. And I believe is also 4 points because of the tile it is. Fires are many players' favorite pastime AFK activity. They are great because they are located right next to a prayer restoring altar, which means you can wear good prayer gear and AFK for a long time without spending any GP, and they drop the incredibly valuable blood shard. Killing these are super easy because all you have to do is protect melee and use the Ivandis flail, and the only hard requirement for killing these is completing the quest Sins of the Father. I decided to go back to Vyres to AFK, but I ended up getting the blood shard that we were after, which is I believe 3 or 2 points on the bingo board. So definitely going to take that, and that also helps the price check a lot. Up next is the very popular Slayer monster, Abyssal Demons. They drop one of the best mid to late game weapons in the entire game, the Abyssal Whip, and that's the item I'm after. The item itself isn't terribly uncommon, and there really isn't much to defeating Abyssal Demons. Basically, just protect melee and start attacking them with whatever combat style you prefer, because every combat style has a viable method here. Decided to AFK some Abyssal Demons with the Venator Bow to get an Abyssal Whip for the bingo. Over 2 million GP going to add to the loot tab, and another point for the team. When Desert Treasure 2 released, it brought 4 new bosses into the game. The one I'm after, though, is Vardorvis. All 4 of the bosses have a chance to drop Virtus robes, and although Vardorvis has the worst drop rate of them all, it's the one I've chosen because I believe I am close to the ring drop. There isn't a ton going on at Vardorvis, but what it does have going on is very punishing. Axes pop up all over the room, and you have to dodge them or take massive damage, and also some bleed damage after. And Vardorvis' head can pop out of the ground and hit you with a ranged attack, shutting off your prayer. And Vardorvis can also lock you in place before making you click on a bunch of red dots that pop up on the screen, or you also take massive damage. None of these are super complicated in their own right, but when added together, things can get pretty hectic pretty fast. So when it comes to my gear and inventory for Vardorvis, I bring the Neatis Not Face Guard, Amulet of Blood Fury Fire Cape, Rada's Blessing 4, Avernic Defender, Bando's Chestplate and Tassets, Blade of Saildor, I think that's how you say it, Ferocious Gloves, Primordial Boots, and the Light Bearer. And in my inventory, I bring the Void Waker for a spec weapon. You use, when you bring a Void Waker, you're speccing at the beginning of the fight because the lower health Vardorvis is, the easier it is to hit it. I bring 1 Divine Super Combat. I usually have it over here. 1 Anglerfish, 4 Prayer Potions, and then the rest is kind of just a mix of Crombwans and Sharks, whatever I'm feeling at the moment. I don't know why I don't have a set number. But I usually average 3 to 4 kills per trip. And I'm also bringing thralls. You can't summon a thrall in your house. I've just learned this. But I usually use the zombie thrall, but I don't think it actually matters which one you use. And, you know, when the boss gets down to like its last 100 HP, I usually use Death Charge just to get some of that special attack energy back at the end of the kill, so you can start the next kill with the same 2 Void Waker specs. That is not something you want to see. I mean, maybe, but not something I want to see because I've already gotten 2 chromium ingots at this boss, so that makes chromium ingot number 3 and my first one during the bingo event. That's not what I'm looking for, but it is still a nice item to see, although it has gone down so much in value. When I was killing this for a separate video that will be coming out later on, these were still over 1,000,000 GP, and now they're barely 750k. Pretty sad, but maybe once some other content in the game like dies down in its popularity, maybe these will go back up. We'll find out. 10 kills later and another orb. I mean, it is still a fantastic drop. A quick 750k to add to the loot tab. Unfortunately, we did not come anywhere near winning the bingo. We had a couple teams that were just absolute god gamers, and they were grinding so hard and got a lot of nice drops. So congratulations to those of you that did win. You absolutely deserve it if you're watching this. But because it's done, I think it's time to go ahead and sell off the loot tab I've built up here. It says 26 mil, but I know that it's going to be a little bit more than that because 2 of these Awakeners orbs were gotten during this bingo event. So I'm going to add those in as well, but I'm going to collect everything, sell it all off, and then show you the profit that was made. It did turn out to be a little over 28 million GP, and it is definitely not all pure profit because there was some supplies that were used. Obviously, I'd say probably around 3 million GP worth of supplies used, and to enter the clan event was 10 mil, which is pretty expensive, especially if you don't win anything in the event. At least my team didn't. So I'm looking at more like 15 million GP profit, which isn't too bad because it was still a lot of fun to get out and experience content I haven't gotten to do in a long time. But with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.